Hello, and welcome to the News in a Hurry for April 15th, 2013.
I'm Travis Volker, and this is my co-host, William Turbulence Welch.
The chief prosecutor of Butler County, Ohio, has issued an indictment against Puxatawny Phil over his prediction that spring would be coming. 6 days after the prediction, a snowstorm dumped 30 inches of snow on New England, and after 6 weeks, temperatures across America remain cool. Phil's handlers are leaping to his defense, saying that they would fight an extradition from Pennsylvania to Ohio.
Federal researchers have concluded that many mothers are starting their babies on solid food too early. Many pediatricians recommend breastfeeding exclusively for the first 6 months, but the study found that over 20% of babies are at least partially on solid food before 4 months. At that age, babies are not yet fully prepared for chewing and swallowing, so feeding them solid food may pose a health risk.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is putting up $100,000 to entice someone to try and make a better condom. Condoms are cheap, easy to make, and can protect against both unwanted pregnancy and disease transfer, and yet they are still not as widely used as many would like. Despite their many benefits, condoms have changed very little since their creation. The foundation aims to find a better condom design, one that is more accepted and more prevalently used.
It seems that a vial of a virus that can cause hemorrhagic fever has gone missing from a research facility. Officials say there was no breach in security and no indication of wrongdoing, and that the vial was most likely destroyed during the lab's cleaning process. The virus is only known to be transmitted by Venezuelan rats, and the CDC was immediately notified.
NASA is getting ready for a Mars solar conjunction, which will put spacecraft orbiting Mars and Mars rovers out of communication for most of the month of April. The solar conjunction will put the Sun between Earth and Mars. This occurs every 26 months, so this occurrence is nothing new and is something mission planners have been preparing for.
Europe's Planck Space Telescope has been working on a mission to study the very, very early universe, and the data compiled is the best evidence yet to support our current understanding of the universe and its estimated age of 13.8 billion years. A professor at the University of Manchester said the data are broadly consistent with the standard picture that has emerged over the last 20 years, but there are also a number of tantalizing hints that there is something missing in our understanding.
A study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences outlines a possible new cure for some patients with chronic lymphocytic leukemia cells. The study found that an antibody which targets a cell receptor called CD44 can cause the cancer cells to self-destruct, but has little effect on normal cells. Clinical trials are expected to start soon.
As many are aware, honeybees have been dying in a record number over the past few years. Now, some experts warn that the issues might pose a threat to the nation's food supply. Bees pollinate the majority of fruit and vegetable supplies, and one beekeeper estimates over a third of our total food supply. Many are blaming a type of pesticide which block nerve endings in the bee and cause them to starve to death. A coalition of beekeepers, environmentalists, and consumer groups are suing the EPA for studies and reports illustrating the risks of the pesticide but failing to take regulatory action.
New research indicates that climate change will cause increasing turbulence over the North Atlantic route between North America and Europe. This could affect both flight times and fuel consumption, in addition to the extra wear and tear on the planes from turbulence.
Kevin Ware, a sophomore guard for the University of Louisville, came down wrong and broke his leg clean through. The YouTube video of Ware's accident has turned over 5 million stomachs. Ware has been released from the hospital and is on the road to recovery. He intends to make a complete comeback.
Yahoo made one teenager $30 million richer by snapping him and his software app. The boy is the teenage founder of Sumly, an app that summarizes the news in 400 characters. The acquisition is in lockstep with Yahoo's new CEO's focus on the mobile platform.
Stockton, California is the largest city to successfully file bankruptcy. A federal judge ruled that the city could proceed with their bankruptcy. Creditors are upset that the city is still paying social benefits, but not paying their debts.
A Georgia baby is gunned down in his stroller because his mother didn't have any money for the two robbers. Dan Marquise and a 14-year-old accomplice approached the mother with a gun and demanded money, threatening to kill her baby. She insisted that she didn't have any money. A bullet grazed her head, and then she was shot in the leg. Then her son was shot. She unsuccessfully attempted CPR on her son.
A Georgia 18-month-old was mauled to death in her backyard by 7 pit and pit mixes her family owned. The dogs have been put down. Criminal charges have yet to be filed.
Trial resumes today in the grotesque murder cases at a Philadelphia abortion clinic. A 41-year-old patient died of an overdose while under care there. Federal agents found the remains of 7 infants who had their necks snipped after being born alive.
Rebels in the Central African Republic overran the capital recently, causing the president to flee to Cameroon. The government there confirmed that the president sought temporary refuge. Since then, the African Union has imposed a travel ban and frozen assets of several leaders of the rebel coalition known as Seleka.
Mass immigration seems to be an issue in the UK, as the Prime Minister has pledged to prevent access to welfare and housing for non-Britons. With the British economy stagnating, these moves appear to be an attempt to assuage voter concerns about immigrants' effect on their job market.
The United States has signed an agreement with South Korea about how to counter aggression from North Korea. The new agreement has been described as South Korean-led, U.S. supported. Officials from South Korea say that having the agreement on paper will help deter provocations.
A doctor in Brazil is being charged with 7 counts of murder of patients in the ICU. Prosecutors say the doctor and her staff administered muscle relaxers to patients and then reduced their oxygen supply, causing the patients to die of asphyxia. Investigators are still combing through 1,700 medical records of patients who died in the last 7 years, looking for more cases. The chief investigator said they have already established 20 cases and that there are 300 more that they are looking into.
Flooding in Argentina has killed dozens of people after one of the heaviest storms recorded moved through the area and caused flash flooding. In La Plata, between 12 and 16 inches of rain fell in just a few hours. At least 35 people were killed and 2,500 were evacuated from their homes.
North Korea has issued a statement urging all foreigners and diplomats to leave South Korea immediately, as their safety could not be guaranteed. So far, the threat seems to be largely ignored by those in South Korea.
And that's all for your news in a hurry. You can find our show notes in the description if you'd like to learn more about a story.
To suggest a story, you can find our email below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the news in a hurry.